What is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another Roster Bubble Series video. Hit the like button if you haven't already, comment and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops through, drops. Appreciate coming back, share this out, do all of the good stuff. Another Roster Bubble Series video for you guys today. In these types of videos, well, we talk about a player that's on the cusp of being cut. We talk about their background, their competition, ways they could win a spot on the roster, ways they could lose a spot on the roster, and then a projection at the end. Today we're going to talk about the NFL veteran tight end by the name of Chris Manhertz. And he is a New York native. He is from the Bronx. With that being said, let's go into his background. So he's 32 years old. He is a big guy, 6'6", 235 pounds. Was an undrafted free agent out of Canisius. Yes, Canisius, which is in Buffalo, New York. Spent time with the Bills, then went to the Saints for a year, then spent a little bit of a while in Carolina as one of the tight ends. Then went to Jacksonville for about a year and a half. Spent time last year with the Denver Broncos, and then is now with the New York Giants since March 16th. So what is to know about Chris Manhertz? Let's read the stats from the last 3 years. So last year, 16 games, 2 catches, 16 yards. Year prior, 6 receptions, 42 yards. He hasn't had a touchdown since 2021. I believe he caught Trevor Lawrence's first touchdown pass, if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, you could see by this, he is another Levine Toilolo. He might be better than Levine Toilolo when he was with the New York Football Giants. Manhertz is a madman when it comes to blocking in the running game, and the New York Giants need that. It's going to be interesting to see what the identity is, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few seconds, what the identity is of the backup tight ends that Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen want, and the rest of the coaching staff too, because we do have a new tight end coach in Tim Kelly, former offensive coordinator of, I think it was the Titans and the Texans and multiple other places. But anyway, so what is his competition looking like? You got Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger as the 1 and 2. You got Jack Stoll, who's a pretty similar player, less experience. He's a younger cat, run blocker. You got Lawrence Cager, who's more of a pass catcher and a special teamer, as he is a converted wide receiver and a converted quarterback in Tyree Jackson, formerly of, I think it was SMU, and then he went to Buffalo a little bit. No, he went to Buffalo in college and then went to Buffalo, the Bills, and then stayed with the Eagles where he converted to tight end for a few years. So in terms of identity, what am I talking about? Who is going to be at tight end 3, possibly tight end 4 if the Giants do insist on 4 tight ends? Do they want a pass catcher? Do they want a run blocker? Do they want to take away duties from Daniel Bellinger that he was basically doing last year, where the offensive line was terrible and he was constantly chipping and pass blocking? Do they want to give that to Jack Stoll or Chris Manhertz just in case? Both are fit for it, and they could possibly do that. But they may not want to do that. They might want to say, listen, we need a pass catcher and a special teamer as our third tight end, and Lawrence Cager fits that. So it could be a lot of different things, but I would like to think their identity is leaning a little bit more towards the run game aspect, the blocking aspect. So how can Chris Manhertz win a spot on the New York Giants roster? Well, health is number 1. Blow out defensive ends and linebackers versus the run. I honestly think that there's going to be reps in the preseason and in the training camp period that Chris Manhertz or Jack Stoll will get 1 and 2 reps, because I think these guys have played enough football to try to see, okay, let's see what they could do against the ones, not just backups, because if you could stall the Giants in the running game in training camp, and guaranteed it's not full lens, because running in training camp, there's no tackling, sometimes it's just a mosh pit, but if they see you getting push, that's a positive. And especially in the preseason, if they don't want Daniel Bellinger playing, if they don't want Theo Johnson playing, Chris Manhertz is probably going to be right there with Jack Stoll, Cager, and Jackson. He's probably going to be right there. And whether it's, this team's not going to play the ones or this team is going to play the ones, that's his chance to really show out that, hey, I could block as, next to the right tackle, in line, this, that, and the third, whatever. So blow out defensive ends and linebackers versus the run. And solid pass catcher. I mean, as a tight end, you probably should pass. There's a lot of tight ends in this league that don't know how to block for shit, but they could do some things pass catching wise. In terms of pass catching wise, he's solid at it, but he's not asked to do it a lot. I mean, the highest amount of receptions he's gotten this season was 6. 2 years in a row, Carolina and then Jacksonville. But again, it's really going to be judged on his run blocking. That's where it's going to be judged. Not his special teams, not this and the third. But nonetheless, you move over to how he can lose injuries. Again, he's been available for the most part of his career. Drops, not a great pass catcher. Well, I should say he's probably a solid pass catcher, but it's not like, hey, you're going to be judged on that 100%. But it's really going to go on his run blocking and injury. I mean, again, he's been available for most of his career. But if he's there, if he's blocking his guys up, then he wins. If he's losing against Thibodeau and Burns and some of the backups, that's going to create trouble. And that's where the Giants may decide, listen, if Manhertz is not playing well, we'll keep one tight end other than Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger. It depends, again, on what their identity wants to be at third tight end, possibly fourth tight end. So, again, how can he win? Blow out defensive ends and linebackers versus the run, solid pass catcher, and stay healthy. How can he lose? Injuries, drops, silent through camp, and basically losing in the running game. Believe it or not, I have him making the roster as a backup tight end. I have him and Jack Stoll making the roster. So I think the Giants will keep 4 tight ends. Now, there could be a situation where they initially keep 4 tight ends and then move a guy off or to the practice squad or acquire somebody in another position that makes a corresponding move. But I feel like the Giants will keep the extra bulk on the roster with Chris Manhertz. Like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops through drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.